This is Dr. Adam Al-Smadisi. I am starting my first blog post in this blog, Spatial Awareness. And I'm going to go over a project I've done a couple of times in the classroom that involves a resource that I think is totally underutilized, and that is old map collections. And, I think they're underutilized at all levels, really. Younger kids certainly use them. I think you get into secondary and post-secondary institutions. Obviously, there's a little bit more analysis and thought that can go into there. But these old maps have a wealth of information. And cartographers have found ways to bring these old maps into the digital age. Right now, I'm at Princeton Historic Map Collections because I downloaded 2 maps from there. But New York Public Library stands out, for instance, as one that has outstanding historic map collection. I'm going to show a tool, MapWarper, that has a nice online collection, and I'm sure that there are many libraries throughout the world that have incredible map collections. So pardon my Northeast focus there. Now, anyway, I am working on some maps from my hometown, Somerset County, or my hometown. Came from this kind of central area, Bridgewater, and over here. And so I downloaded some high-resolution maps from here, and we're talking, I'll show you the scale. These are TIFFs. What I'm eventually going to do is make it a GeoTIFF, so it's tied to geographic locations. But what you have is this very interesting layout of information. Here you have these are, this map had landowners from what I read. There's some names that I recognize from the street names, for instance. I also wonder, if I had some high school friends, for instance, who had these last names. Of course, you're getting an old map of your hometown, so you're like scrounging around to see what's been here the longest. But there are also these like really interesting aspects of these old maps. You have like these pictures that are really interesting, something I want to explore a little bit further in a future activity. You have things like this scale bar, even the map title, right? This kind of beautiful typography. And even over here, you have this description where, the county is introduced, and it, talks about the geology, the original inhabitants, and also, you have this interesting line: Somerset County stands high for the general intelligence and high moral tone of its citizens and their attention to the cause of popular education. Some of the greatest men whose name adorn the history of the state claim it as their birthplace. So there you go. It's also, there you go, campground of the Revolution. So Washington's headquarters are a couple places on this maps. You have also a railroad that'll come into play later. But just kind of a cool, you don't obviously get this when you open up the Maps app. Now, I don't want to miss out. I also found this other old map, and I don't know what year this was from. Population about 1857. And it also has these really interesting pictures. And this is not really what the town looks like today. But, you see over there, residence of General George Washington. These are interesting. You have these things, the Somerset Young Ladies Institute, something I don't know much about, but I'll delve in further. But you also have these like historical artifacts, like one I came across here, colored school. So obviously school for African American children, and I wonder about that building. Is it still around today? Is the history of that building well known? This is the public school, but something to look into, and certainly speaks volumes about the history of this town. Now, I'm going to work with this map here, and what my goal is to create a map file that has this map tied to geographic coordinates. It's called the MapWarper, and I'm going to go right over here. Here's the site. This is the first version, but I can browse rectified maps over here, and it's actually way more interesting to view by location. So I'm going to zoom into a location I know pretty well. This is where I currently live in Asheville. I'm going to zoom in really closely. The old neighborhood. Sorry. There we go. So I can let this refresh. I think those might be somewhat messed up. Here, you know what I'll do? I'll switch this to like over here. And here you go. These are all areas. And so some of these are wrong, for sure. But generally, let's see what this one shows. Interesting. Looks like a hiking map. Anyway, I don't wanna lose sight of why we're here. What we're going to do is a process called GeoRectification, and we are going to upload this map. And this is something that I think middle school to high school students could capably do. We're going to upload this to this platform, this map, and really I want to focus on the process of uploading these points and really working with this historical artifact and doing something with it. So what we're going to do is upload it to the site. We're going to rectify it. That's also kind of an action of citizen science, because you're taking this map that wasn't uploaded before except for my trial run, and you're uploading this. I just remembered I have to rename this file. Let's rename it. Okay. You're taking this historical artifact and you're enhancing it by giving it the coordinates so that people can search through this manner. And I think if classrooms across America ask this of their students at the college or secondary level, you would find some really interesting connections between students and their local geography. Now, I'm going to go to upload map over here, and I'm going to call this one map of Somerset County, New Jersey. The author is Lloyd Van der Veer, surveyor. Sorry, I have a little baby, so always tired now. Date depicted, I think this said 1850. Okay, and I'm gonna upload my file, and I'm gonna create it. So it is uploading this pretty high definition. You saw the detail. It must have been drawn on like a poster or something like that. Anyway, and there's symbols here that I assume are kind of talking about kind of elevation relief. there are, oops, sorry, just checking on the progress. This plan for Somerville. You know, you can kind of get an idea of some of the businesses that might have been around then. Certainly lots of churches. Let's see if get the population. So Bridgewater, oh, never mind, this is size. Oh, and here are the references, so the most popular references. I assume, you know, if you moved to a new area or you were visiting a new area, you might want to find the local church, not just for religious reasons, but, you know, just social reasons. Okay, that is still loading. Let's see what else we got on here. Interesting. North arrow. And we can go back to this other old map. You can totally see how just like snooping around here, it's kind of enjoyable. You know, things for people to do, especially if it's an area that you might care a lot about. So this is the common school in Somerville. Let's look there. Is this the same? No. They may have built a new one. Still uploading. You can obviously skip ahead on that one. Okay, out here. Interesting, subscribers. So this must be a map people like buy to get updates about. You had barbershop, dry goods. Again, some of these Dottie, for instance. Frelinghausen, obviously popular. Name and common family. There's a Rockefeller. Man, this is taking. So obviously your students might go a little crazy while this is getting uploaded, but here we go, finally. So now we have the map, it's uploaded to the site. And now here's where the really interesting process comes along. We're going to rectify it. And the way you rectify it is you put these things called control points, and you say this point over here is over on this point over here, and this is obviously a, oops, I have to move that over now. Oops, an interactive map. I wound up moving it near New York City. Here we go. Move down. And zoom in. So this is the general area where we are. And I've already written down the areas that make sense to pick for control points. So I'm going to go a little bit faster than your students probably will. But what the goal is here is to find signatures in you know, whether it's the road patterns or you might find certain names that you can say, okay, this is here and this is here.